All right, 6:30, time to start our regular meeting. Will you call the roll, please?
Yep. Commissioner Blevins?
Here.
Commissioner Norwood?
Here.
Commissioner Saragusa?
Here.
Commissioner Roberts?
Here.
Commissioner Stallings?
Here.
Commissioner Orr?
Here.
Mayor Mason?
Here. Item number 2 is our invocation and flag salute. We've asked Mike Summer from Grace Mennonite Church to lead us in a prayer, and then I've asked Commissioner Keith Saragusa to do our flag salute following that. So if you'd stand, please.
Let's pray together. Father, it's an honor to come before you this evening, knowing that you are the God of wisdom and the God of mercy and the God of love, who wants to see the people of Enid live prosperous lives where they can serve you and care for their families, care for their businesses, and prosper. Father, I'm thankful for those that serve in this community to govern it well, that we might be able to prosper and be able to live our lives in the freedom you've provided. I ask you to give them wisdom and insight beyond what's logical, to understand the issues, to see the future, and to guide this community where it needs to go. Again, I'm thankful for their service, and I ask you to bless them. In Jesus' name, amen.
Amen.
Join me in the pledge. I pledge
allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you. Okay, item 3.1, consider approval of minutes of the regular commission meeting of November 21, 2023.
Move to approve.
Second.
A motion and a second. Please cast your votes.
Yeah, that working.
Cast your votes again. There we go. Motion passes 7-0. Item number 4, present pet available for adoption at the city's Animal Welfare Department.
Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. I have here Mrs. Claus. She is a pit bull mix, about 4 years, 5 years age, estimate. She is with puppies right now, so she needs all the help she can get. She's the sweetest. She has a good disposition, pretty good with dogs. Come help her. She needs out of the shelter, guys. All right, thanks.
Item number 4.2, recognize Public Works Director Everett Glenn for 30 years of service with the city of Enid.
Everett, come on up. We try to do this from time to time when we have long-term employees like Everett step away. Everett has served the city of Enid more than 30 years, and so it's fitting. He's helped me a great deal. He's helped everybody since he's been here. He's served in many different positions. I know about 5-6 years ago, we had an opening and he applied and I hired him as the Public Works Director. He's been a big help to me and a service to the city as we implemented new programs like the asphalt program that we did not have previously, where we actually lay down asphalt that Ashley's department does, our concrete repair program, numerous other things, fixing infrastructure, and working together with the departments to accomplish good and meaningful things for the city of Enid. So this is kind of a sad time, but it's also a great time. You know, I knew the time was coming eventually, because it comes for all of us eventually. I didn't know it was going to be this soon, but I'm happy for you that things are working out for you to go now, I think the end of the week.
Yeah, right.
So we're going to get together Thursday and do some stuff together, but I wanted to thank you publicly for your 30-plus years. I want to give you a couple coins because number one, I don't know if I ever gave you one of these, but you're definitely the most valuable player for the city of Enid. And you're also a friend of the city. And a friend of the city is somebody that doesn't just complain. They come forward with solutions, and better yet, they just do stuff. They fix things. They don't come and talk about things. And kind of it's It's the JFK approach. Ask not what your city can do for you, but tell us what you can do for your city. You're that kind of guy. So I know in your spare time now, you'll still be around the city, so you'll be a resource for us. He's a crafty guy. He does a lot of craft stuff. Gosh, and you do a lot of that, and then you're going to get some time with Peggy to do what you want to do. I'm glad. I heard you're retiring too, so life is good. Everett, I want to give you this. You can certainly hang this in your garage or something with your woodworking tools. You've earned it. Thanks again for all your service to the city. We'll talk again on Thursday and have some more stuff for you, but it's a good time for you. You put in a lot of time. Feel free to say whatever you want to say.
Now, first of all, I want to thank the city for giving me a chance. I started season at the golf course and kind of worked my way to the street department. I've been all over fleet and traffic and parks and all that. But I tell you, with the staff that I have underneath me, what made my job easy for me to do. So I appreciate them, and then I really appreciate my wife dealing with me for 30 years while I was doing all this. So I met all my dreams, and I've got to the point. My goal was to get to 30 years. I did that, and my goal was to get to public works director, and I accomplished that. So I'm still going to be around. I probably will get involved in other things and help the city out still. But I really enjoyed it.
Thank you, Everett.
Thank you.
Item 4.3 is to recognize St. Mary's Regional Medical Center CEO Krista Roberts for 33 years of service. So, Krista, I just wanted to follow up and just say, I know a lot of people have gone, so why are we giving a plaque and award to someone that's not a city employee? I'll echo what Gerald said a while ago. You are a friend of the city of Enid. The things that you have done, I called a few days ago and asked our secretary, hey, run me a list of everything that she's done. She called me back and said, you want me to keep it to one sheet? And I said, yeah, that'd be great because you've been involved in a lot of stuff and we appreciate that. Just allow me to read this. It's pretty impressive. Chris has served 33 years at the hospital, promoted to Chief Operating Officer in 2011 and then promoted to the CEO position in 2017. 2021, Krista was nominated for Pillar of the Plains. Being one of the Pillars of the Plains honorees is humbling. You said at that time, Robert said that the award, no matter who wins, is an opportunity to highlight the importance of volunteering and giving back to the city community that everyone loves. I say that all the time. You know, we all love our community, but some people step up and actually do things. You're one of those. Chris has been a leader in the community and health care for the community since 1990. She's been a champion of the latest health care and reform. There's nothing changing in the health care business. She's been instrumental in physician recruitment, which I had the opportunity to hear you speak to ERDA about how difficult that was right now, and really opened my eyes to how difficult it was just to get doctors to come to Enid, because I don't think about Enid being rural. Robert's been involved in the United Way of Enid in Northwest Oklahoma, Leonardo's Children's Museum, Enid Regional Development Alliance, Greater Enid Chamber of Commerce, and more. And in the past year with Advanced Development Authority, I had the opportunity to actually swear you on to that. And Oklahoma Hospital Association, Leadership Oklahoma, as the Northwest Oklahoma Ambassador for a medical hub. So all that being said, and I know there's a lot of accolades we could do, but thank you for choosing our city and making a huge difference. We appreciate it, and I want to give you this plaque. I'm hoping that even though after 33 years you retire, you don't stop helping out, and I just can't imagine that you would ever do that. So Here's his plaque. Here, and then I also have a coin I want to give you. This is mayor's coin that I had done. It shows the silhouette of downtown. I always say that we are a city on the move, and I believe that sincerely. And it's got our city logo on this side, so thank you very much. Would you like to say something?
Oh, sure. Well, it's been my honor and my privilege to serve St. Mary's. So seen a lot of changes. Certainly, we've worked very closely in partnership with the city of Enid over the years as we all had lots of battles and different things, different challenges were presented our way. But I do firmly believe that if we all volunteer our talents and efforts, we will be a better city for it. So even in retirement, I do plan to be active, and my husband of 33 years has been very active in our community as well, and I just want to thank him. There were several years there that during the pandemic that I was pretty much absent from my home, so thank you to him and thank you to our daughter that kept everything going at home. So it's been my privilege and my honor to serve. Thank you.
Okay, item number 5.1, consider approval of the final plat for the Theater District Edition, Block 1 and lots 1 through 5. Scott?
Yes, Mayor, let's keep the good vibes rolling. We have a final plat for your consideration. This has been before the MAPC committee. They've looked at it and recommended it for your approval, this final plat. This is one of the necessary things that the movie theater developer, Mr. Stetson Snell, is going to need to do, is to have these final plats laid out. What it's going to designate are these 4 out parcels. And there's really 2 areas that were in the site plan for out parcels, but as we began to look at this and lay out the final site plan or the final plat for this, we recognized that there's plenty of space here. We can have 4 out parcels that are an acre apiece, plenty of room for any type of establishments that might want to come on frontage when this movie theater gets built. So these are one of the things that Mr. Snell needs to happen for his financing to fall through. So we've put this together. MAPC recommends your approval, and it's here for you to look at. I can explain some of the physical characteristics of it if you'd like, but there is a 25-foot right-of-way that goes through the center of this where the sewer and will be run through and other utilities that are needed. It's located right along here. This will be the entryway in from Garland, and you'll get access to these 4 lots. Water frontage is on the front, available on the front of these parcels. So they have all of the necessary components they need for good development. So it's here for your recommendation for approval. Final plat.
Motion to approve 5.1.
Second.
Okay, I have a motion and a second. Please cast your votes. Motion passes 7-0. Very good. Administration, number 7.1, consider an ordinance amending the Enid Public Code 2014, Title 11, zoning, Chapter 10, supplemental zones. Oh, you want me to do 6 before 7? Okay. Yeah, my bad. I'd already checked it off. Number 6, I'm sorry, I got ahead of myself. Hearings. 6.1, conduct a public hearing regarding proposed amendments to the Historic Preservation Commission ordinance. This is a hearing, so if anybody would like to talk regarding those changes that we want to make.
Apparently not.
Okay. All right. It is a hearing only, so we won't take a vote right here. So be on item 7.1, where I was. Consider an ordinance amending the Enid Municipal Code 2014, Title 11, Zoning, Chapter 10, Supplemental Zones, Article B, Historic Preservation District, Section 11-10B-4, Historic Preservation Commission, to provide flexibility in the commission member qualifications and the call-in of meetings, approval of business requirements, a simple majority of the members present, reducing the length of the terms from 3 to 2 years, providing for repealer, saving clause, severability, and codification.
Move to approve the ordinance on 7.1.
Second.
Okay, I have a motion and a second. Cast your votes. Motion passes 7-0. Item 7.2. Consider an ordinance amending the Enid Municipal Code 2014, Title 5, Public Safety, Chapter 5, General Offenses, Article H, Drug and Alcohol Offenses, to amend Section 5-58-6 entitled Smoking and Vaping Within City Parks to prohibit smoking and vaping within with limited exceptions. Violations carry a $200 fine, providing for repealer, saving clause, severability, and codification.
I move to approve on this ordinance.
Okay?
Second.
I have a motion and a second. Before I do, I have someone signed up. Miss Lucille Pitt had signed up to speak on this.
Yes, Mayor and City Council, good evening. I really wanted to speak to what I thought would have been approval for people to feed the homeless. But since there's an ordinance now to keep people from vaping and smoking in the park, it seems that we are doing everything we can to keep people out of the parks. My husband and I, we were glad to hear Jeremiah and Forgotten Ministries talk about the ministry to the homeless, because we also do that. We were going to the park, feeding the homeless on Sunday evenings because we heard they needed. And then we went to look for them and they were gone. And when we saw a homeless person, she told us that there was an ordinance that forbade them to be there during daylight hours. So we're doing everything we can to keep people out of the parks. It's almost like we think that if they're out of sight, they're out of mind. And homelessness is not going to go away by our ignoring it. I'm glad Forgotten Ministries is doing something about it. We travel a lot. We were in New Orleans, we saw the homeless there. We came here from Maryland and DC, they're homeless there. We go to Oklahoma City, often there's homeless people there. Everybody who's homeless is not a drug addict or wants to be homeless. People get into dire financial, economic situations, and they find themselves homeless. That perhaps has never been the situation with some of you, but it's a real thing, and it's around the world, not just in the United States. If you ever look at television, see what's happening in England and some of these other countries, it's a problem. What is the city of Enid going to do about it? Jeremiah, Forgotten Ministries, does not get funded by the city of Enid. Why can't the city of Enid provide funding to help them with what they're doing, obviously, to help the homeless? I spoke to someone months ago about why the city of Enid could not build tiny houses for homeless people. That would help them to have a place to stay. They would be able to get back on their feet. You can have programs or arrangements with employers to hire them so that they get out of that situation. To have an ordinance to keep them out of the parks or keep them away from businesses, it's not going to solve the problem. And they don't move here from other cities. If you're homeless, it's hard for you even to buy a meal. So it's difficult. I know Councilman said that some of them ride the trains or something like that. But most homeless people, and we're seeing a lot of young people, I don't know how old she is, she looks pretty young, but we're seeing younger people now who are homeless. We see families who are homeless. What is the city of Enid going to do to help them? They are Enid citizens, some of them, and they need the help to get back on their feet. That's what I wanted to speak on this evening. Thank you so much.
Thank you. That's the only speaker I had listed. I have a motion and I have a second. Please cast your votes on 7.2. Motion passes 7-0. Item number 7.3, consider a resolution setting a date for the recall election of Ward 1 Commissioner Judd Blevins and consider a vote on the emergency depending on which election resolution is passed.
I'll make a motion on 7.3 to pass the resolution without an emergency. And in that, I would ask that the council would vote on the date being April the 2nd, 2024
I'll
for
second
the
that
election.
motion.
I have a motion and a second.
Hold on.
I'm going to open that up right now. I have a motion and a second. I'm going to open it up to public, or to the comments. I only have one person that's signed up actually for 7.3 is Christy Bolden.
Now?
Ms. Bolden, please keep your comments to 3 minutes.
I will do my best.
Pitt, I meant to say that and I forgot, so thank you for staying within those boundaries.
Okay. I'm here to ask you not to give Judd the favor of the March election as he has requested. This is only happening because he refused multiple opportunities in order to avoid this. On November 21st, Judd delivered a message denouncing white supremacy, but taking no accountability for his personal involvement in multiple white supremacy groups and activities. That is why this went forward. In expressing no regret whatsoever for the pain and trauma those activities caused, he has expressed no feelings of remorse at all. Even worse, his statements to the newspaper on November 29th, a full 8 days after he did that, puts all of the blame on us. He's had 8 months and countless public opportunities to accept responsibility for this, and that is why we are here addressing a recall. Please, I think it is critical for you to avoid the appearance of an unfair process with the citizens of Enid if he gets to choose his recall election date. In the newspaper, he called the ESJC a small group of Antifa-adjacent leftists whose rhetoric and behavior is actively dividing and destroying our nation. Our rhetoric was the truth, and our behavior was yelling the truth. He said the attacks against me are inspired by the same Antifa radicals that rioted and burned cities. We initiated a recall according to the dictated democratic process. He also said that despite the best efforts of this fringe group, we are not a fringe group. I canvassed less than 20% of his neighborhood, and 75% of the people who answered the door signed the petition. There is no way that 75% of those people are Antifa adjacent. He thinks we are the problem, not his lack of accountability or the groups that he supported. In fact, the Department of Homeland Security stated in its 2020 Homeland Threat Assessment among domestic violent extremists, racially and ethnically motivated violent extremists, specifically white supremacist extremists, will remain the most persistent and lethal threat in the homeland, not people who ask for a democratic process recall. I do not believe, considering this just happened last Thursday, that he deserves the right to be able to dictate his election.
Okay? Commissioner?
Yes, I have a response. So, over the past 10 months, the voters of Ward 1 have been accused of being apathetic or ignorant. I've been accused of having misled the voters or even lied to the voters. Now, this is the perception that the Social Justice Squad has created, and it's one the media has amplified. The reality, however, is that per the data from the Oklahoma Elections Board, the turnout in Ward 1 last February was the highest turnout in a commissioner race across this city in 10 years. Now, the media has omitted this from their reporting. They call it voter apathy, so it falls on me to inform the public. Now, as to the claim that the voters were misled or that I lied to them, I'd like to read directly from this recall petition. I'll read the first 2 sentences. Judd Blevins was elected to represent Ward 1 of the city of Enid in February 2023. Following the election, information, photographs, and evidence emerged showing that Mr. Blevins has actively pursued a white nationalist and white supremacist agenda for many years. Following the election, that is interesting. This right here, this is a copy of the Enid News and Eagle. What is the date? January 8th, 2023. Is that the date on there?
That's it.
What does this front page article say? City candidate accused of white nationalist ties. January, again, the date, January 28th, 2023. That is before the election. So you see, the only people that have gone before the voters and lied to them is the social justice squad. They felt so inconfident about their cases, about their argument against me, they had to lie to the voters, and they had deceived them. Now what we have here is literally a handful of people who have taken advantage of this city's very generous regulations regarding the recall process, the very low threshold. And what they've done is broken this rather unspoken but universal well-known agreement between an elected official and the public, that so long as that official is carrying out his duties to the best of his ability, that he votes in accordance with the wishes of his constituents most of the time, and when he doesn't, he gives a good faith answer as to why he did not. And most importantly, he sets aside any personal agenda he may have in order to first serve the community. That elected official won't have to worry about being removed from office until his term has expired. Now, what happened 3 years ago with a former commissioner dealt entirely with that commissioner's behavior while in office. His repeated votes against the will of his constituents, his arrogance, and flippant behavior when asked to explain those votes, and his own personal agenda coming before his duty to serve the community. That was the grounds for his recall, and there's nothing in this recall statement that accuses me of that or comes close to it. Now, it's very easy for the Social Justice Squad to make this recall appear to be popular when they have the benefit of being funded by Oklahoma Progress Now, which is one of the state's largest left-wing advocacy groups. And again, the media has failed to report this. So it falls on me to inform the public, and I think the voters ought to know who is funding a recall effort against a duly elected official. So here's just 3 things Oklahoma Progress Now considers to be important to Oklahomans. And these come from their own websites, their social media accounts, and statements made by their leadership. Protecting participants and planners of riots from being held accountable under state RICO laws. Posting a private citizen's name and address online and identifying them to their followers as political enemies for opposing child sex reassignment. Number 3, emptying our prisons while defunding the police. Now, it's also very easy to make your agenda look popular when you have the benefit of friendly media coverage. The Enid News and Eagle has given them a platform at every opportunity. They gave them one in March just to let the community know they exist, and they gave them another one in October to help them launch their campaign. In addition, they've also been able to rely on news stations from Oklahoma City. KFOR has seen fit to give the Social Justice Squad a platform on 5 separate occasions. KFOR did not see fit to report on my brake lines being cut. I guess attempted murder of an elected official isn't newsworthy to KFOR. Now, what the media has done for them is to create the veneer of outrage. In political terms, that is called astroturfing, and this is what it looks like. Now, I want to make myself clear. All the hate I get from emails, what very few I get, are from outside this community. They're from outside this state. But meanwhile, I've been overwhelmed with how much support I get from this community. I truly am thankful to everybody who's reached out, everybody who's emailed me and told me, we have your back. I am so thankful for that. So there is really no popular support within this community to remove me. None whatsoever. And I can't think of any way to better prove my point than by informing the public that by my critics' own admission, you have no candidate. You have no one willing to file and run against me.
We were never running anybody.
I am making my statement. You have no one willing to file and run. You have wasted everybody's time. So I want anyone who might be thinking about filing to understand this, and frankly, we need to get this over with as soon as possible. I want anybody who's thinking about filing to understand this. You will be the Social Justice Squad's candidate. You will be Oklahoma Progress's now candidate. You will be the media's candidate. And you will have to
Commissioner, those are
campaign.
assumptions. You can't say that any candidate's going to be
Point of order.
represented by someone else.
You will have to
I'll draw
campaign
that conclusion.
as this candidate in a ward that went for Donald Trump by 80%. So good luck with that.
I want
Now-
a point of order. Are we allowed to do campaigning in an open meeting on city business?
Those accusations?
No, I'm asking, are we allowed to do campaigning in an open city business when there's a quorum?
I'm not campaigning.
Point of order.
He just told
Hey,
me.
Point of order.
point of order.
Okay.
And I'm asking the question of our city attorney.
All that we have on the agenda tonight is to set an election. The protest of the recall, if there is a protest of the recall, it's for the court to decide, and who the candidate is against Judd, if there is one, is not at issue tonight, nor is campaigning. It's just the city clerk has done her job, and the only thing you all are here to do tonight
set a date.
is to set a date and pass a resolution.
Thank you.
Okay.
We need to get this over with. They've had 6 months to find a candidate. They can't find anybody. If we extend this to
Judge, this
April,
isn't
that gives
about
them another
finding a
month.
candidate. This is about selecting a date tonight.
They've had 6 months to find a candidate. They have nobody. Clock is ticking. I want to get this over with. You want to get this over with, Mr. Mayor. Do you
You're
not
missing
want to
the
get
point.
this over with?
We're going to pick a date tonight.
And I put
That's
forth
what's
a
on the-
motion to recommend
There's a
February
motion on
3rd.
the
have a motion on the
table. There's a
floor.
motion on the
Cannot make a motion.
table.
If you're done, are there any other commissioners that'd like to make a comment?
Only thing I'd like to say, in this election, just like the election that I went through, and my election was extended, and we had a runoff, one thing that I found some value in was the fact that I was able to make contact with my constituents. I learned different things about them. I was able to ask questions of them. They asked me questions. I gave them my limitations. I gave them the ability and the power that I had to be able to help make a difference.
Can I make a point of order here also? That's campaigning.
Okay.
And we're not going to be campaigning, we just went over that. So can
We
we
need to stick to the date.
stick to the
We
date?
really do.
Thank you.
I would like to know why,
I'm done.
Commissioner Ward, you would like to extend this out. Because if we set this for February.
No, we
there's
have a
filing
motion
period.
and we have a
I want to hear
second.
why the commissioner believes
He doesn't
April
have to
is the
answer
better.
to you.
Yes, he does.
No, he does
This is
not.
my election.
He does
Mayor.
not. He has a vote to cast. He doesn't have to answer to any other commissioner. Any
I
other
guess you need
comment?
more time to find somebody, too.
I have a motion and a second. Please cast your votes. This is in favor of the April date. Motion passes 6-1. All right, we will move on to taking care of city business now. Item number 8 on the consent. I will look for a motion to accept our consent.
Move to approve our consent items.
I have a motion and a second. Please cast your votes. Motion passes 7-0. Item number 9, recess to convene as the Enid Municipal Authority. All trustees are present for the Enid Municipal Authority's regular meeting. Approved claims in the amount of $39,284.68.
Move to approve.
I have a motion and a second. Please cast your votes. Motion passes 7-0. Item number 12, adjourn to convene as the Enid Public Transportation Authority. All trustees are present for the Transportation Authority regular meeting. Item number 14.1, approval of claims in the amount of $268.97.
Move to approve.
I have a motion and a second. Cast your votes. Motion passes 7-0. Item number 15, adjourn to reconvene as the Enid City Commission. Item number 16 is public comment. I have several people signed up for public comment. I will remind you to keep your comments to 1 minute and to address your comments to the entire commission, please. My first person is Lucille Pitt again. Ms. Pitt, you've got 1 minute. Yes, ma'am, when you start. I'm not going to start when you
I'm
walk
one
down
of the
aisle.
members of the Enid Social Justice Committee. I didn't know I was radical. One of the problems we tend to be having in our country right now is the problem of people disagreeing and wanting to follow the Constitution and bring things before the committee. The Enid Social Justice Committee did what the Constitution allows them to do. I don't know this gentleman. I've seen his face. I've heard about what he's done. I have never heard him say, "I'm sorry." I've heard him say, that was back in the day and I was exercising my First Amendment right. Okay, our country right now, including Enid, there's a lot of hatred. And it seems that if someone disagrees with someone politically, then they're seen as the bad person. But the Constitution of the United States, of which Oklahoma is supposed to be participating, allows disagreement without name calling. Because the Enid Social Justice Committee found the problem with you, and I'm a member, part of that committee, it doesn't mean I'm a radical, it doesn't mean I hate you, it doesn't mean I hate anybody. My time is up. But we need to learn to respect the views of other people, even if they differ with us politically.
Thank you. Our next speaker is Nancy Presnell.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor and Commissioners, and thanks to Mayor Mason for his courage and leadership in the censure resolution. I have no idea why it wasn't supported, but I only hope that the public did not take that to mean that the council is okay with having a Nazi/white nationalist in our city government. I am just one of a number of democracy-loving patriots who are not convinced by Blevin's lame so-called denouncement. I doubt that Heather Heyer's mother or families of the officers killed at Charlottesville would be impressed. We will not be silenced by being targeted by Blevins in police reports. We will not be silenced by having profanity screamed at us by little men. We will not be silenced by tacky letters threatening us for saying what needs to be said. When someone tells you who they are, believe them the first time. Blevins has said he doesn't feel safe without his assault weapon and swastika armband. Swastika armband is all we really need to know. Swastika armband. Thank you.
Thank you. Our next speaker is Ruth Ann Miles.
Greetings, City Council. It's ironic that I'm here tonight when the smoking and vaping ordinance was passed for the parks. Trans Teen Survival Guide by William L., Youth Nonfiction, 306.76. From an awkward moment from a teen trans man. My most ridiculous story would probably involve me accidentally leaving my packer in a friend's bathroom after a house party. I had to send her a Facebook message asking if she'd seen my penis anywhere. Luckily, she had and wasn't too awkward about it, but it's not every day a guy forgets his dick. This is what 4 to 12 years of higher education deems as literary value. I urge this City Council to advise the city manager to instruct the librarians to stop purchasing inappropriate materials for youth. This Saucy Story Time was brought to you from our Enid Public Library. Thank you for 60 seconds.
And I get this wrong every time. Byron, I think.
That's me.
Did I do it right? Byron Bolden.
Hey, y'all. My name's Byron. I'm not much of a public speaker, so I'll just run through this. On November 19th, Judd Blevins released a statement on his official Facebook account with the city's logo to make it more official looking. The statement alluded to the lefties, the leftists, whatever. I found myself to just be a reasonable citizen, that they were responsible for criminal violence. Criminal violence, being responsible for criminal violence, and probably are responsible for cutting his brake lines. He does so with hints and allegations. I was named in the police report as a person of interest in trying to do Judd Blevins physical harm. Crazy allegation, but it was repeated the following day by a national organization, Unite the Right, who said that I attempted to assassinate Mr. Blevins. Now, I need you guys to realize what those words mean and the harm that could come to, forget about me, but my family. This is beyond the pale.
Thank you. Doug Boyle.
I am here tonight because I am deeply disappointed in our mayor's leadership by allowing individuals to publicly slander and defame the character of honorable members of our community. This creates division and tears us apart. Someone who neither knows me nor cares to be truthful invoked my name in the last meeting. Many of you know that I'm a godly family man and a combat-decorated veteran with impeccable character. Those who know me know the statements made were simply false. Jesus said, "You will know them by their fruits, and a good tree cannot bear bad fruit, nor can a bad tree bear good fruit." I ask you to look at the fruit, mine and theirs. Also, when I decided to run for office, I was introduced to Leanne Clinton, and I am proud to have had her guide me through the process. By her actions, I know she is a patriotic and honorable woman. I am proud to stand by her in the fight for our constitutional freedoms and rights in this community. And for the public record, I'm wondering why Keith Siragusa, Whitney Roberts, and Mayor David Mason hide from the fact that Leanne helped them in their campaigns as well. Thank you.
Vivian Atchison.
Governor and Council, 32 years ago, I had the honor of being appointed by the Commissioners to the Citizens Advisory Committee on Recycling. The committee spent a lot of time working with the city. We recommended and the city adopted that yard waste and other materials be separated from other landfill waste. Yard waste is one of the big contributors to the production of methane gas at landfills, and control of site conditions reduces the production of it. It seems inconceivable that the city is going backward in time, excuse me, and moving forward to implement a policy to insert waste into the landfill system to deliberately produce methane gas. I do not think this policy is good for the citizens of Enid. There are too many unknowns, including potential rules that may penalize landfills for implementing policies to create this harmful gas. Please rethink this policy. Thank you.
Thank you. Ronnie Jenkins.
Thank you, council members, mayor. I was listening online when Jeremiah was speaking on the homeless situation in the Mercy House. Though I've only seen and been a very small part in what they do, I believe that what could be driving homelessness, not just here in Enid, but more so across America, is the way the present Washington administration has driven people to homelessness, and along with our southern open borders. Throughout the Midwest, our economy may also play a part of homelessness. Here in Enid, I reiterate how our management continues to work at improving our community along with our members of the city council, and with a team put together, these problems will continue to decrease in our city. One of the problems that continues for our community is all kinds of issues mostly brought up by certain groups about our city council member, Judd Blevins, which should be decided by those in his district and not at this podium to continue bashing Mr. Blevins. Thank you, guys.
And our last speaker is Mike Wright.
Mayor, members of the City Council, Mr. Gilbert, Mr. Morris, Ms. Gilbert, thank you for this opportunity to address you this evening. My name is Mike Wright, and I write under the pseudonym of Michael P. Wright. Last week, I sent a letter to the city of Enid, to the Enid News and Eagle, rather, and I posed the question in my letter, where is the Paul Allen Drive? I received tremendous response. Hundreds of people have emailed me, texted me, social media, all very positive about the Paul Allen Drive. In 2018, I accompanied Mr. Allen to his induction into the Oklahoma Hall of Fame. He hated it. He didn't like speaking, he didn't like the fanfare, he didn't like wearing tails. He's really glad it was over. So I talked to him a few days ago about the importance of his name being listed on a drive. And he said it wasn't necessary. And I said, I didn't care.
I would request more time for,
We don't do more time on public comments.
but I'd like to hear what you have.
We would love to talk to you more about this, Mike. Okay, I know that's an issue, and I would love to have that
Yeah,
conversation.
well, I've talked to him about it. He's picked out the road. I've talked to the people, all the people on the road. One person is impacted is all, so.
You've got my number. Just give me a call next week. We'll get together. It's all the public comment. I'll look for a motion to adjourn.
Move to adjourn.
I have a motion and a second. All in favor, cast your votes. Motion passes 7-0. We are adjourned.
Yeah, we can talk.